Ready, Lucy.
The Motley Crew. Here we go. All right. Yeah, John Rahm.
I can still hear you, by the way. Oh, Mike, you got it fixed. I think you look good. You look good enough.
Wow.
I think this might be a temporary situation. This thing's about to fall right back over. But
testing the microphone. 1, 2, 3. Tyler's got a beer. Mike, you don't have a beer?
I do not have a beer. I'm going to try to get in some fitness after this, if the Lord allows.
Yeah, I'm fitting this Guinness right in my mouth is what I'm doing.
You know what, guys? I just realized I never even changed the title of the show today.
Oh.
Well, that's okay, because we're still Find the Fairway live.
Yeah, let's do it live.
What week are we doing here, guys?
This is the Players' Championship. Ty, they're playing in Ponte Vedra. TPC Sawgrass, famous 17th hole, Island Green.
Good to know.
You know, a replica close to your alma mater at Eagle Eye over there in Bath, Michigan. So hopefully you've gotten to experience before, Chris. I know you've played the real thing, or at least in my mind you have. Anyways, I digress.
Did I ever tell you guys? Did I tell you guys? I gotta make sure we're up and going here. Did I tell you guys a story about Sawgrass and what I tried to do when I worked it in 2008?
Well, I think we need to lay some backstory out there. Growing up, the three of us were extremely into covert ops.
Yes, we were.
So that's a foundation for you, Christopher.
That's a fantastic
way
to lay it down,
right?
Well, I mean, I shared your passion for sure.
Did you?
Yeah, man, I loved it. Ron, the ground screw guy, I loved that. That was good stuff.
You know, he did my parents' lawn later in life. I told you that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get any better than having a certified head greenskeeper cutting your own personal grass.
You guys, I am struggling right now. I can't even log into this thing. We're live on the air. It's just...
That's okay. I mean, we're
passing the time.
Oh, here we go.
We've got you. We've got Ty.
We got all three of us.
We're back up. We're back up.
So where do you guys want to start today? We got to start clearly with Scotty Scheffler, who's just costing all sorts of people money in bets.
I mean, are we even starting with Scotty Scheffler? Or are we starting with Rory McIlroy, Victor Hovland, and Billy Horschel, the rest of the field that just kind of collapsed on Saturday and Sunday? Or we could just not even talk about anyone specifically, and we can just talk about Bay Hill.
Well, you know,
golly, that was a great tournament.
All right. So what are we talking about, Mike? You laid out a lot there. Just so everyone I named last week was they all crumbled. They were all at the top. I threw out Victor. I threw out everyone. But you know what? Arnie, he was shining down. He was laughing up there, man. Arnie, he loved that. That was a tough test. It's a good test. It's a good test.
Finally.
That's a good test. Good test.
That was a good test.
So, because I mean, you heard Rory after the round. You heard what he said, right?
Yeah, do you have the quotes though?
I don't have the quotes, but basically what Rory said was, I mean, he wasn't complaining, but he was frustrated. He basically called it a SHIT show, and I don't think he is going out of his way to be a jerk and complain about it. But here's where I sit on it. If you're allowed to shoot 30 under par at some of these tournaments, which they do, you should be allowed to shoot over par. Or 5 under being the winner. I get that it could have been unfair, but I don't think anybody should have a problem with this being a once in a basically year situation. It's a different topic of, can balls stay on the green? Can you hold the line when you think you've had a good shot and something just happens that you have no control over? I understand that, but I think kind of like the Phoenix Open debate, 1 week, it's great for us. I personally enjoy seeing what we saw yesterday at Bay Hill.
I don't know if I'm going to say I personally enjoy it, because I like to see people like succeed and do well, but at the same time,
US Open?
Well, yeah, of course, but it's also a major, so that's a little bit different, I think. But so hold on, though. I think I'm fine with this, though. I have the same could be said if you go to a typical 30, 25 under finish, the guy who wins shoots that score. But it just like rains the entire week, or it's really windy and scores are high. This isn't like this tournament always plays this difficult. It was also weather related. The greens were crazy fast. They had zero precipitation. It was a perfect storm. So I'm fine with it. It's what the golf course gave. Everyone played the same course. And it wasn't one of those situations where the guys who teed off early had a lot of success and the guys who teed off later really, really struggled, or vice versa. So yeah, Chris, I think I'm with you. I like to see the guys, struggle a little bit. I'd like to see some of the guys like hang on, but I'm with you. The first thing that came to my mind is I don't want to see the ball. I don't know why I closed my eyes for that long there, but I don't want, like, if the ball is rolling off the green or it's blowing off the green, like, and it's completely unplayable. But this was just a really, really tough test. And of course, Rory's going to have something to say there.
Well,
but
Mike, fair or unfair?
I mean, everyone was playing the same course, so I think that's immediately fair. If I was, out there as a superintendent, granted, I know nothing about upkeep. I think, knowing that it was going to be dried out and the balls weren't going to be holding the green, and with the wind in the forecast, I would have cut the rough down a little bit just to give those guys a chance. I think that would have made things a little better and kept some epic collapses. But at the same time, like you alluded to, that they're all playing the same golf course. They're all getting tested. It was, a good sign of who really had their game and not just their swings, right? For a lot of people, it was just their mental fortitude shining through. And those are the guys that ultimately, kind of hung around and were at the top of the leaderboard. Had Rory, and this is not a knock on Rory, he showed it before that he can be tough. But I think with the mindset he's in these days, he's just, trying to be the best Rory he can be, not necessarily the most dominant golfer in the world. I think maybe he mentally wasn't fully into the test. But, hats off to him. He played fantastic on Thursday. I don't think he's done, though. I think he's got something left in the tank for this year. I think we're going to see him win sometime soon.
When you're talking about the line of what's unfair, are some of the guys succeeding? And some of them were on Sunday, guys. I mean, there were rounds in the 60s on Sunday. There weren't very many. I mean, Scheffler shot
2 or 3.
Par. There were a couple, but that my point is, a course is unfair when nobody is successful. What Chambers Bay, when they had all that patchy grass, and when they couldn't keep the ball on the greens at Shinnecock because it was so dry. That's unfair. This was just a tough test of golf where, yeah, some of the elements were unfair, but overall, there's a reason why there weren't very many guys who were complaining about it. Rory standing almost alone. There's a reason why, Tyler, because there was some success out there.
I agree with you. And the funny thing is I would much rather play Bay Hill than I would St. Andrews, where it blows 50 miles an hour. It's 40 degrees and it's raining. Yeah, it's fun, but it's because it's what you're signing up for. And that's like where golf, well, it's not like that's where golf originated, but it's because it's not expected. But I can totally sympathize with these guys. I know what it's like in my very short golf career to play in some really inclement weather, and you get your butt kicked. And when you get off the course, all you have to blame is yourself, because you think everyone else is going to suck that day. And you come in and lo and behold, Ryan Brehm shoots under par. I mean, you're like, how is this even possible? So yeah, I understand Rory's frustration for sure.
Tyler's talking
dropping there.
Tyler's talking about the 2003 Michigan High School Golf State Championships, by the way, as
I sure am. I sure am.
You know what?
We got save yourself the scores. Don't even look them up.
We've got to get Ryan Brehm on the show because, guys, I tried. I tried a friend of his on Facebook. I tried a family members of his on Facebook. I messaged the wrong Ryan Brehm on Facebook. Let me pull this up for you. And show you what I did with Ryan Brehm.
This is phenomenal.
Let me show you. I did this whole spiel congratulating Ryan Brehm about getting him on the show and all that stuff, how I used to play against him in high school. And I was like, this is nice. I think I did well with this. I think he's going to respond to it. And this guy, oh no, I deleted it. This guy says, all he says is, wrong Ryan Brehm.
I got a feeling you're not the only one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, everyone that
Chris,
doesn't know, he's the dude that just won the Puerto Rican Open. So.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And in the field for the Players Championship, which I see
this
you
week,
flash this bottom banner.
Well,
but before we get to that, Chris, if I can just steal 2 minutes of the show while we were on the.
As much as you can. Are you going to talk about Rory?
No, I'm going to talk about fair or unfair. Saturday, I think you guys probably saw Billy Horschel on the 18th. Hit a great punch shot, ran through the green, went over the green, snuggled into the rough just past the fringe. And when I say settled in, that baby was in there deep. And Billy claimed he was going to putt it from there, and the sprinkler head would have been in his line. So he got a ruling, got relief onto the fringe. So he got out of the rough, got to drop onto the fringe, drains it for birdie. Where are you guys at with that? I mean, obviously the ruling committee was in there and they said, okay, you can do this.
You're saying an improved lie is what you're saying.
Yeah, and there was no way he was going to putt from there, right? No, I'm never in my 26 years of watching professional golf have I seen someone putt from the deep rough. So really that sprinkler head.
So
I'm fine.
Are you saying are you saying this because if it was Patrick Reed, we'd be having a different conversation? I'm serious.
I just seeing how you guys feel about it. I'm not going to take a stance. I am curious.
Well, I will too. I'm fine with it as well. I understand improving your lie, and you're never going to hit that shot as a putt, which by the way is a much different looking shot, putting from the huge rough or having to take God knows what kind of wedge or trying to bump it up there, as opposed to like being able to basically place your ball in the fringe. That's your argument, right? Being able to improve your lie to a point where there's no way you would have been able to hit that from the other spot.
Exactly. He went from being lucky to get up and down to save par to get birdie, but
part of the rule though.
You think that's part of the rule? You think that's ethical to say? I mean, in a gentleman's game here, it's saying, "Oh, I'm going to putt this, therefore the sprinkler head's in my way."
What you're saying?
I just think that's dishonest.
To me,
the rule is
have been
that
going the other way, guys. To me, the rules have been going the opposite way.
But how is that not dishonest? The rule is that if the sprinkler was in play, he could get a drop.
Okay.
He wasn't going to putt it there. Come on.
He's not bending the rules.
Yeah, but
that's
that's the rule. I think Mike's point.
He's taking advantage of an existing rule.
Correct.
But
it's a rule.
Is that ethical? So you're saying he was going to putt it there.
I think he's just, if you're smart enough to know the rule book, you have the ability to find things that work in your favor. A lot of times nothing in golf works in your favor. So if you have this opportunity, I think you take it. I mean, does it say something about him as a person? Sure. But I mean, he's a competitor and he knows the rules of golf. I mean, I don't even know if I would know that. I'd probably just say, well, I'm probably going to have to try and chunk this one out of here and, dribble it up there. But, probably a couple years ago, I probably would say it's ridiculous. It's dirty. He's taking advantage of it. But you know what?
The rules are going the opposite way.
More power to him.
But Mike,
I think most of the guys are doing the same exact thing. But that doesn't mean I like it. I took a stance. I don't like it.
To put a bow on it, this actually kind of is like that Patrick Reed thing last year in California. Think about it. Patrick Reed used a rule in existence that every player that week said, I don't do that. I would never do that. It was Patrick Reed picking up his ball to identify it, is what it was, instead of having somebody come in and look at it for him and actually moving the ball to figure out what it was. Every player said, I've never done that. Technically, the rule said he could.
I think.
But technically, the rules said he could. So Billy Horschel didn't do anything wrong either. The rules say he can do that.
The rules say he can do that if he's going to putt. But no one would ever putt that, is my point. So therefore, he is breaking the rule because in a gentleman's game where you're at your word, you say you're going to putt. Come on.
It didn't have anything like it was strictly putting. I mean, because you can definitely bump and run it. If you got to bump it through right where a sprinkler head is, that's going to throw you offline too.
Yeah.
But it was strictly because of putting. I mean,
it was strictly because it was a putt. It wouldn't have been in his way if he was bumping, running, doing anything. I mean, it was a foot in front of the ball, maybe. So questionable. But like I said, I think 95% of people would take advantage of that rule.
Oh, I would, and I wouldn't look back.
I just don't like it.
Of course you would, Chris. But I mean, if we're out playing the scramble, man, if we got the Charger scramble coming up.
Yeah, you do a 2 club length and everything, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if the ball's in the water.
It's 2 driver lengths.
Absolutely. Bring it.
Nah, you can't improve your lie with that 2 club length scramble rule. Come on.
All right, then I am not having you as a scramble partner. I will just tell you that then, because I am absolutely trying to get the best out of that rule. All right, guys. Good pick or bad pick? My one and done. Talk me out of this one right here.
Oh, I think you're fine.
Yeah, let it roll.
Mike, this, yes, thanks for the drama. Mike, this is our debate, Mike, from a few weeks ago. Okay? Who's playing better golf more consistently that you trust right now than Collin Morikawa? And don't tell me Scotty Scheffler, because you know my stance on winners back.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. Go ahead, Mike. What do you got?
In this case, Scotty Scheffler would be win in the conversation, win. So I wouldn't pick him. Definitely not. I think he's hot. He'll be up there again. I don't expect him to cool off, but I can't argue against the pick of Collin. He's been playing great when he's been playing. I always give him a really hard time about his putting. But if you look at where he's been strokes gained putting, probably his last 4 or 5 tournaments, he's been up there. Obviously, you got to putt well, and you got to have great accuracy at the players. He's proven he can always do the latter there. So if he can do the former, I think he can be in the winner's circle.
So let me show you guys.
I know you want me to create some controversy and tell you why you're wrong, but I can't.
Thank you, because I know I'm right. So if you're picking, and here's the thing about the players, guys. The purse is ridiculous this year.
Well, I got to win.
Huge.
So when you're doing a one and done, if you're not picking a star this week on a one and done, you are doing this wrong.
Well, look out for
sure.
me.
Because if you're going to put in Keith Mitchell, Tyler, like you and I did, it worked out well for you. It didn't work out well for me.
Sure.
You're telling me that if you're going to have a $2.7 million winner and second place gets God knows what, is it 1.3, 1.4? You better pick a stalwart this week, because the money is so astronomical that if you're not, you're falling behind.
I'm with you, man. But look at this year, though. It does. I mean, it's for me particularly. Like, I'm getting mopped by everyone I know in this league.
Yeah, but you're not really picking a whole lot of stars.
But what do I say to that? Thank you. Thank you.
I just don't know. Are you like waiting to pick the stars? I mean.
Well, I think I could, but what I'm trying to say to what your point is it doesn't matter even if I go after the big guys this year. The only person who's won twice is Scotty Scheffler,
and nobody saw it coming, right? Nope.
Yeah, no one saw that coming. But I mean, I think Collin's a pretty good pick. I mean, you need someone who's pretty strong with their irons. I would have thought the same for Zalatoris, but his putter completely blew up this past weekend. But there's some really,
he probably better than average for Will Zalatoris. But go on.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I'm glad you guys got your licks in there. The field is stacked. I love it, and I'll probably go after a big name at the top of the leaderboard because I've been saving them for this. You know, like a John Rahm getting a little bit fired up here.
Good segue there.
Here we go.
Who would you pick? Who would you ride here, Rahm or Hovland?
Rahm.
You think so?
I think Rahm's game's not in a great place right now. I don't think he's great either.
I don't know if it's as bad as we are thinking. I thought John Rahm was going to fall. I didn't think he was going to make the cut this week.
Well, he almost didn't, to be fair.
Well, you're right, he didn't. He came back, he showed the moxie, and he moved up the leaderboard relatively well compared to the way people were scoring. Mike, I agree with you. I'm glad I picked him at the Farmers because I think he's down right now. He can easily
get back up. You guys think he peaked?
No,
definitely not peaked. He is way too great a golfer.
So you're telling me you would pick
No,
Rahm?
peaked for this year, I'm saying.
Oh, no.
No, I think he'll round into
Give
form
him
in
the
another
summer.
month
Give him
or
the
so.
summer. Yeah, maybe even before that. So
See, okay.
you go
Thanks,
Rahm
guys.
over
I
Hovland
guess
right now?
I go
I would
Rahm
not.
over Hovland.
Here's where I think people make mistakes, and I do it all the time and still trying to learn from it. I think looking at what somebody did here last year or the year before, or trying to manipulate in your head that, this person doesn't play that well here, really is not a good way to look at it. Rahm plays well here. Hovland statistically does not. He didn't play well at Arnold Palmer historically either, and that's why I didn't pick him last week. I had him up here on the chat. I had him up here on the stats. I didn't pick him because I didn't trust his history.
And
You got to get away from the history, is all I'm saying.
Well, I think with a young guy like Hovland, it's a lot different than.
It's a small sample size. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and his sample size is he was so green and just trying to figure it out. So it was his first couple times seeing the course. I think now, he's in his fourth year, I think, maybe third. And he's a different player than he was. Like, if you think about when he came out, he didn't get his card right away. He tried to, play his way onto tour through some sponsors exemptions, but he was easily overshadowed by Matthew Wolff and Collin Morikawa out of that class. And he had to kind of go and grind and get his,
good point.
So I don't think it's fair to look at what he used to do. I think, he's proven so far this year he's a totally different beast than he was last couple of years.
Everybody's favorite penalty shot bet here. Perfect timing, Tyler. You got Rahm, I got Hovland.
Yeah, I trust in Rahm. Hovland for me, and I think this is more personal. Hovland for me, maybe it's because I've listened to all the broadcasts, but all they do is talk about how he struggles and how he acknowledges he struggles with his short game. So to me, in a big pressure tournament, I feel like you got to have that short game to fall back on. Obviously, it didn't work from this past weekend.
210th in approaching around the greens. 210th.
So
that's not good.
That's bad.
No, but how do you look at it though?
That's crippling.
But he can overcome that, which is insane, right? So it's the Morikawa conversation where not a great putter, as Mike says, but his iron play is so stellar, he overcomes it. I don't know, like Hovland, his total package besides around the green is.
So if he's mediocre around there, he's lights out.
Right, but I think Rahm at mediocre is also really competitive. So, maybe this weekend. So anyway, penalty shot. What do you got, man? Let's go.
Mike,
straight up?
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to do shots. Are you kidding me? These are two top 3 players in the world. Mike, pick a side. Come on, this is fun.
I'll pick a side. I'll go Hovland. I think we have to see a better short game out of him.
Right.
And I'm so reserved doing this because I think something switched in his head coming down the stretch on Saturday.
That's right.
Where he started choking shots away, and then I think he was just thinking about that too much. But he's such a go easy guy that by the time this week comes around, he'll have forgotten about that. And I think Hovland in a runaway over Rahm.
Me and Mike have Hovland. Tyler has Rahm. Real quickly here, Ricky Roulette. It's a little different version of Ricky Roulette this week.
What do we do this week?
You know why? Martin Laird killed Ricky. Ricky
yes, he did.
3 on Sunday. I'm up 3-1. There's one problem here.
Ricky is not in the field.
Qualify this week. You got that right. So you get a week off from losing, Mike. You've lost 3 straight. And we can revisit how far down the leaderboard of world rankings you want me to go next week.
This was his chance. This was his tournament.
He was under par. Oh, this week. Yeah, you're right.
This week.
Crazy that the 2015 champion does not even qualify. So, Mike,
I don't think it's that crazy. Poor Ricky. He's not as far off as it seems, not to sound like a broken record, because I think I had the same conversation with you guys last week. I'm not even sure if that show has been published. I'm not going to point fingers.
It was me.
Okay.
No more songs of the week.
But let me just tell you, I think Ricky, I said this last week. I think his game's close to playing his way up into top 10s and into the FedEx Cup playoffs this year, which is crazy. We have to even say that.
He's talking Ricky Fowler in playoffs.
Is that even mathematically possible?
Yeah, it's mathematically possible. So to make the top
In
140. I think you can do that.
Okay.
No problem. What?
Yeah.
That's just a few top 10s.
Well, you know
what?
what?
Make your way through.
He might be a pretty good Corn Ferry Tour player here in a couple of years. Mike,
Just
you're down 3-1. Two more, and you are asking a stranger at the grocery store why you lost Ricky Roulette.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We'll revisit this next week if he's in the field next week. Michael, again, your time to shine. Last week was such a hotly tested debate. You are trying to prove us wrong, but there's one problem I have with this, Mike. You are not understanding our argument. Okay? We're not saying.
No, I understand your argument.
We're not saying you're not good enough to break 70. I am saying your approach is flawed, and Tyler feels the same way. Tyler, go ahead and start.
You know what? I'm looking at Mike and he's already, look at him. I mean,
I'm just curious, intrigued what my approach is, and what's so flawed.
I don't know if I can do it to him. I mean, speaking of broken record, that's me. It's Mike. The approach I have is that you think that. Sorry, your approach that if you just hang around, you're just bound to shoot a 69. I don't agree with that.
You're not playing nearly enough golf on a course to do that. And Tyler, you said last week that it's like losing 400 pounds. The first 200 are easy. Mike, I'm sorry. You can go out there. You can play tons of virtual golf. That's the topic here. Is virtual golf a great way to practice?
Oh, wow. Good. Well, that was the lead in. Okay.
Let me just make sure we're all on the same page here. I don't think I'm going to come close to breaking 70 anytime within the next 3-4 years.
Okay.
I'm trying to do it 5 years from now, right? And Ty, what you're saying, I think it's very plausible that if you get comfortable shooting 74, 75s consistently, there's a good chance you're going to have a round where you're flirting with 69. Will it happen? Will it not? I don't know, but listen to me here. I went back through GAM handicap data, right? And I found what a 4 handicap is. Okay, so that's someone typically shooting probably 74 to 76, depending on what the course rating is and everything like that. And I got their lowest rounds, their median rounds, and their maximum rounds. And that span is 67 to 84. So there's plenty of people at that handicap who have broken 70. So my theory is, why not me? And Chris, you're saying I'm not getting enough rounds. Obviously, I'm not getting enough rounds right now, right? I have a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old.
The goal is unrealistic because I really feel like virtual learning and TrackMans can only take you so far. You've got to get out there and have feel, not only on your long shots, especially in your short game. When we're talking 69, we're not talking
without
75.
A doubt.
We're not talking 75. The difference between 75 and 69, Mike, is getting up and down every time and making 10 to 20 footers. That's
all day.
The difference.
You need that day where you don't miss a putt and your short game is on point.
But your margin for error on 69 is so small. And I
you don't have a margin for error.
If you're not out there at all enough, if you're not out there playing golf 3-4 days a week, 69 is here, and 75 and everywhere is here, and you can do it all you want, but you're never going to get up here to 69 if you're not out there on the actual course getting a feel all the time.
Chris, what do you think you would do if you go out and you shoot 69 in the summer? How do you think you what if you messed around and you shot a 69 this summer?
There's a reason why you're bringing that up, because it is not possible. It's not possible.
No, I would love it, because this whole conversation would be flipped on its head.
Yeah,
Mike would say, "See,
BS," and Mike would say, "You're right."
Yeah.
So, Chris, remember that one time where you were playing at Genesee Valley Meadows and you were something like 6 under through 8 holes?
I was 6 under through 8. It was sophomore year of high school. But here's the thing, Mike. I played golf 10 hours a day for 7 straight months.
Yeah, but that was a front 9, though.
Right.
Exactly. What did I do on 9? I hooked it out of bounds and
but listen to me here. 32. Listen to me here. This is my argument. Okay. So had you even just bogeyed that hole, right? You'd have shot 31.
31, right.
What did you shoot on average for 9 holes that year? Like 37?
He would have crumbled on the back.
37-40. Oh, I would have shot 45 hands down on the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy.
But listen, been done.
To my point, though, that just proves the amount of variation you can have as a good golfer if you catch lightning in a bottle.
You're also
he's going statistics.
I played every day, all day for 7 months, and that's why I was in that position. Yes.
Disagree.
That is why I was in that position, Mike. Absolutely.
Disagree.
Practicing on the course. I do, Mike, every week. Here's what I want to do. I want to end this show with you hitting golf shots.
That's great. So that's that point.
Is that a yes?
Yeah, I'm probably going to hit golf shots after this anyway. So if you want to watch, that's cool. If the world wants to watch, that's cool. So is virtual golf a good way to practice?
Hello,
that's
world.
what we want to talk about, right?
Yeah.
I've got my opinion, obviously. Ty, do you want to give your opinion before I tell you why it's a good way to practice?
Obviously, it's the only way to practice right now.
Exactly. And so
not short game, though.
That doesn't mean it's good and good enough to shoot 69 if you're trying to lower your scores a bunch.
I think this time of year you have two options, right? You can hit balls and work on things and try to groove your swing and get it better. You can practice your putting.
I'm talking about in general. I'm not talking about during the winter. I'm talking about in general.
Or you can do nothing.
I choose
the
do nothing approach. If you do nothing, you can't get anything wrong. So the do nothing approach is foolproof.
So I guess the other thing I'll say while we're at it is if it was not helpful at all and launch monitors were not helpful, you wouldn't see 90% of the PGA pros take them everywhere they go and pay more attention to what that's telling them than what their ball flight's doing on the driving range.
But they're also spending 10% of their time on the track, man, and 90% of their time out there practicing in the real world.
Correct. That's fair too. But like I said, I obviously can't do anything else right now.
I know you can't, but I'm just saying that's why it's an unrealistic goal, because you can't get out on the course.
I'm glad you think it's unrealistic. What would be a realistic goal? Maybe we go there. Maybe next week we talk what a realistic.
What is realistic? All right.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
I don't know,
because we're going to talk about this every week because this is our best topic, obviously.
I have no clue. I don't even know what state your game is. I don't even know what a realistic goal.
Because in my opinion, if I'm trying to improve year after year for 5 years, and I don't set the bar at something that's going to be extremely gratifying to do and a carrot that's just dangling out there, that maybe you do, maybe you don't. Like what's the point? I might as well continue to go out there and shoot 80, right? I'm just trying to put myself somewhere to strive, something to work towards.
That's perfect. If you want it to be 69, then do it. Tell me I am a complete jerk, and go out there and do it. That's a great point, though, Mike. Next week, let's look at what your recent scores have been. Let's look at how often you're going to play.
Jeez.
No, I'm serious. I have no idea what they are. I'm seriously asking you. Let's see what your
they're not close to 69. We'll say that. Okay. But that's why I'm trying to do it 5 years from now. Next week
you're going to play in the next year, in the next 2 years, and we can readjust this goal so you don't feel like we're picking on you every week.
I mean, maybe what we do before that even is just start with what the plan is, because you keep referencing it and thinking that, and I don't think anyone else really knows what the plan. I don't even think you know the plan. I laid it out for you via text briefly, but I doubt you even paid attention or went back and read it.
Absolutely. I pay attention to everything.
You're just a boo bird. You know what? I don't have time for the naysayers and the boo birds. It's all good.
On that note, before the Zoom ends, hit some shots, please.
I honestly don't even know if my camera's queued up for this.
Sure it is.
From an angle perspective.
I can move it around all I want. The
all
beauty
right.
of this. Here we go.
For the record, I'm coming in pretty tight.
I'm liking the. Oh wait, are we? Oh, is that part? That's part of the plan, Mike. I listened. Part of the plan, right? This year is bulking.
This is my getting stronger phase.
Here we go.
What, Brad?
What? How is the working out going, by the way, Mike? That takeaway is so much better.
Working out's going great, dude.
I mean, you're less Sergio, and you're more. Not quite Justin Thomas, but.
What's wrong with Sergio, Chris? What's wrong with a little lag?
We don't have.
You want to hit it with the big boys? Put a little lag in the swing. Here we go. What?
he's getting a little flat there, but Mike, that's good.
Are we still on live air?
Yeah, we're live on the air.
Oh yeah.
I won't flick you off then.
Oh, you can do it. I'm not going to post this anywhere that is child friendly.
We'll put some music to it too.
I don't
Mike,
want
and we'll be
Margot
able
to see
post
this
it.
someday.
She's like, this is how my dad started his journey to 69.
Do you think that people just watch this stuff on YouTube and they're like, I'm just watching this dude hit golf shots?
Honestly, Chris, it'd probably pull in more views.
I'm just gonna start doing the whole pod just hitting golf balls.
I mean, I can hear you perfectly, so.
I'd love to. That's it right there. Yep. Stay behind the ball.
Mike, didn't your guy tell you more outside takeaway, or was that just me?
These are solid contact.
No, I'm actually less outside. I'm hooding it. I'm kind of back more, and then up, 2-piece.
Which is better.
So
what I really need to work on.
Getting a good
So
full
wait,
turn.
what's your first thought on your movement down?
Movement down.
Yeah, what's your first thought?
I'm hips and I'm coming down,
Yeah,
and I'm
go.
thinking club. And the one thing I really need to work on is in to out, because that's my big thing.
Right.
Old
That's right,
swing,
baby.
I'll help you.
over
not
the top,
cut.
cutting, open face. So that's
It'll
where I'm
change your
trying to
life.
get.
Guys, I promise I'm going to upgrade to pro next week because we're out of time. I want to watch you hit more shots. But in the meantime, I got to say goodbye.
Adios.
Yeah, you know what? We'll say bye. I got some ideas too. I'll find a way to get the launch monitor screen shared, so we got some data to go off of.
All right, I love you, Michael.
Great.
Love you.
Keep being you.
Goodbye.